Hi everyone, it's Rainy Apple. Today I am in a bit of a different spot. I am on my floor, on the floor of my office specifically, and I'm here because I thought it'd be kind of cool to do like a sit down and chit chat kind of video, just about some thoughts that have been on my mind recently. Normally, when I'm feeling kind of like introspective and I don't know, introspective, I guess, I will journal. I'll go and journal my thoughts. I'm a big journaler. I think I go through about a journal a year, but lately I've been documenting my art journey on the YouTube, and I thought it would be good to show not just like the high points and like, you know, the kind of like happy stuff like me working on my art and all that kind of stuff, but to give more of like a more well-rounded view of my experience as an artist, show, I don't know, like lower points or just my thoughts and emotions. So I've got my green tea with me. It's actually about an hour before I start work today. I'm working from home, but I don't know, I just kind of felt the urge to make this impromptu chit chat video, so that's what I'm doing. I would call this a video diary, video journal. Yeah, let's call it that. I do have some notes here that I might be looking down at a little bit here and there, but oh yeah, and for those of you who don't know, so I am a digital illustrator and webcomic creator. Lately, so I've been working very hard on a new webcomic project. I've titled Heart on a Steel Canvas, and this is after about a year of me not drawing anything, and this was after having I quit my job to be a full-time artist for a year. I quit doing that because of just the stress like around financial instability and just anxiety and self-doubt. So then I went and returned to working a full-time job, and then yeah, at that point I just stopped drawing entirely. I completely gave up on you know, creating anything, being an artist basically. And so yeah, I'm starting this project after it, immediately following that, and I've been getting some people kind of inquiring about it, people in my life inquiring about, you know, like how hard I've been pushing myself, and like questioning, you know, like are you pushing yourself too hard, or like, I don't know, maybe just like questioning why I'm doing what I'm doing. I've even gotten a comment something along the lines of like are you having like a manic episode? And then I start to think, oh my god, am I bipolar? Like because I do have quite the history of depression and some other mental health issues that I don't really want to dive too into right now, because that's a whole other story. But yeah, I just start to question like, oh my god, am I unstable? Am I having a manic episode? Am I gonna like drop off of this project and just like not continue on? And I start to feel a little scared, or fearful that I'm going to burn myself out from pushing myself too hard. So I started to think about like, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I pushing myself so hard to make what I'm making? So I started to think, kind of take a step back and kind of get to like the root of, okay, like why did I leave my job in the first place to make, like, to work so hard on my art, to put so much time and effort into my art. And the first thing I could think was that just the association of like success, or success with monetary success. Like, I've always associated being a successful artist, I guess, like successful artist, as an artist that's making money from their art. And I fully believe this is just from how I grew up. This is kind of how I was raised, you know, like I lived in like a single parent household. We were usually like just me, my sister, my mom, and I, and we were oftentimes kind of like tight financially. And so whenever I brought up the idea of, you know, like, I want to be an artist when I grow up, I want to be an illustrator, there's a lot of pushback from my mom because of, you know, just how difficult that industry is, how difficult it is for people who work as artists to make a living. And so I started to I guess form in my mind like the association of, okay, well, if I do make art, if I am going to spend time making art, I need to be making money from it to not feel guilty about it, like to not feel like I'm wasting my time, or to not feel like, or to basically feel like I'm allowed to make art, just to basically prove that like I can make money from it. And I feel like that's such a, it's not the greatest mentality to have. You put a lot of pressure on yourself to make money, and it just makes making art not that fun anymore. I don't know how to explain, but the pressure to make money from your art just makes making art stressful, and it doesn't fill your cup as much. It doesn't fill your soul. And I feel like the actual original intention of why I wanted to make what I'm making kind of gets obscured by the desire, or this thought that I need to be making money from my art. And I can already, like, I've only been working on this project for a few months now. 3 March, April, May, June, July. Oh, I guess it's like getting to 5-6 months. Okay. But I can already feel myself starting to put this like pressure on myself, like, okay, I need to like making a plan to like, how am I gonna make money from this comic and all this stuff. And maybe that's part of what's fueling me to push so hard to make my art. But and if that's the case, I don't want that to be the case. It's such a tricky thing, because in order to, I guess, afford to spend time on your art, you need, like, in order to survive, you need money to, you know, buy essentials, food, shelter. So you need to spend time doing things that are going to help you survive. And so when your time is being spent, you know, on a full-time job or whatever, like a day job, and you don't have as much time to work on the things you love, you start to think, well, if I could make money from the things that I like doing, then I can afford to spend more time on it, like things like that. It's just, it's so hard to separate like a monetization from creating art, and I'm trying hard to separate it. So I guess my voice is getting raspy. I'm gonna take a sip. Okay, so yeah, I found myself like kind of falling into a trap of like, you know, kind of starting to plan, am I gonna make money from this comic and all that stuff? And like, I don't want to have that kind of mindset. I just want to continue creating for the love of creating. And so I started to take an even further step back and think, okay, like what got me out of not creating for a year? Like what sparked that initial urge to create this comic? Why did I start this project in the first place? Like, was it to make money? Obviously not, because I already kind of given up on the thought of being a full-time artist. I had already, like, I mean, like, I understand that art is not the kind of career that you go into to make a fortune or anything. So it wasn't that. That's not why I started making this comic project. Why did I start making this comic? What motivated me to start this project? And I kind of thought it through, and at first I was really struggling to find my why. And then at some point, I'm a big reader of, like, I really like quotes and stuff like that. I like philosophy. I like, recently I've been really enjoying books and stuff about like Eastern religions, specifically like Taoism and stuff like that, or Eastern ways of thought, I guess, and spirituality. But there's one particular thinker, philosopher, modern philosopher, named Alan Watts that I've been reading the work of for many, many years now. I find myself always coming back to him because I don't know, I just feel like something about the way he thinks about the world and his values and stuff just kind of like click with my own, and I don't know. So me feeling lost, and what I find myself doing very often is I just kind of started to go through Alan Watts's work. More specifically, I like, just going through some of his quotes and some important things that he stated over the years. And there's one that I came across that just like hit me. Like, it just hit me like this is the exact reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like, this is why I feel such this intense urge to make what I'm making. And yeah, I for those of you out there who are maybe struggling a bit to find your why, like, why do you create what you create? I just really I've really wanted to share this quote from him because, I don't know, maybe it'll hit you the same way, and maybe you'll feel like, damn, that's a good why. Like, that's a good reason to be creating. So okay, so this is the quote, and it's actually, I think he said it more directed towards writers, but I think the same applies to any sort of creative, because at the end of the day, it's your experiences that kind of like underpin anything that you create. So I am going to read his quote. Oh, sorry, I kicked the camera. Okay. Advice. I don't have advice. Stop aspiring and start writing. If you're writing, you're a writer. Write like you're a goddamn death row inmate and the governor is out of the country and there's no chance for a pardon. Write like you're clinging to the edge of a cliff, white knuckles on your last breath, and you've got just one last thing to say. Like you're a bird flying over us and you can see everything. And please, for God's sake, Tell us something that will save us from ourselves. Take a deep breath and tell us your deepest, darkest secret so we can wipe our brow and know that we're not alone. Write like you have a message from the king. Or don't. Who knows? Maybe you're one of the lucky ones who doesn't have to. And that, when I read that, oh my God. It's making me wow. Okay. It's like, it's so funny. It's just a quote, right? But like, and when I read through, or when I listen to if I like go back and listen to some past videos that I make, or like things that I've written, there's this like underpinning theme that I just like never really noticed, but I find myself stating again and again that the reason why I want to make something or share something or whatever it might be is oh my God. Okay, I need to calm down. I think it just kind of shows like that's what that is my why. Like the fact that it hits me so fucking hard, like this is it. And okay, the reason why, or what was I saying? Oh yeah, the underpinning theme that I find myself stating again and again in different ways, but it's always kind of like the same, is that I make what I make to help others feel less alone, to help comfort others who might be going through difficult things that I've gone through, that might feel like they're a failure, that might feel like they're the only ones in the world that, I don't know, that like nobody else struggles with the same stuff. Like that's exactly why I'm telling this story, or why I feel such like an intense urge to write what I'm writing, or not even, yeah, I guess I am a writer in a way, but still, I don't just want to share it through writing. Like there's a whole other dimension that I want to show through my illustrations. And yeah, when I realized that, I just gained so much clarity. And so like some questions I would ask myself is like, and I would implore you to, you artists out there, like ask yourself these questions as well and see what you find. But things like, should you stop creating art just because you're not making any money from it? If that's my why, then absolutely not. And I think, I mean, when I quit my job, I stopped making art because I wasn't making any money from it, which is so sad to think. But yeah, I think that's the reason why, after about a year of not creating anything, I felt so like this just emptiness, like this purposelessness, and I actually started to get very like nihilistic, which is not good, but I was starting to get very nihilistic and just question, like, why am I here? What's the meaning of all of this? Like, why bother continuing on if I don't know, I just didn't see any point to anything that I was doing. But once I found art again, once I made my way back, all of those feelings just disappeared. Like it was like magic. And so it just further further solidifies that like I need to keep creating regardless of whether or not I make money from it. Like I need to, almost like, to survive as an organism. I don't know. Other questions you should maybe ask yourself. Is monetary success a measure of your value as an artist? I don't think so. And yeah, like, I mean, things nowadays, it's such a tough landscape. It's such a tough environment to be an artist and to make a living. Just because you're even the most, there's so many talented people out there that just don't get any attention because of the algorithm or just luck, or you know, whatever it might be. Sometimes it takes an artist, I don't know, like a few months to get their footing. Other artists, it takes years, decades, well, more than a lifetime to actually get, you know, like have any sort of monetary value placed on their work. I don't think it has anything to do with your value as an artist or the value of your art. How do you define what a successful artist is? I think that is, I almost feel like that shouldn't even be a question that should be asked. I don't think there is no successful or unsuccessful artist. There are just artists. Yeah, I honestly, I don't even know how to answer that one, but I mean, before I used to think that a successful artist is an artist that's working full time and making a living from their art, but now I don't even think there's a distinction between a successful and unsuccessful artist. There's just artists. Yeah, and wow, I guess that was my last question here is, regardless of what success looks like for an artist, why does success need to be a goal? Am I not allowed to make art for the pure enjoyment of it? So yeah, I honestly, when I sat down here, I wasn't really sure like what direction this conversation was gonna take. I just kind of wanted to talk a bit about, you know, what's been on my mind, and like, you know, kind of like the thoughts that have been going through my head, and like what I've been struggling with a bit, like just questioning like my why, and like just struggling a bit with motivations around like just finding myself kind of falling into the trap of like, I need to make money from my art at some point if I want to like do this, to put more time into this. But I just really want to try and stay as far away from those thoughts as possible. Like, if it happens, it happens, whatever, but keeping in mind like the reason why I'm creating what I'm creating, I think that's the most important thing. And yeah, that's basically all I had to say. Normally this would be on a piece of paper in my journal, but today I wanted to share this because I feel like I'm certain that there must be someone out there, an artist, a writer, another creative, that struggles with the same sort of thoughts around like making money from your art, or struggles with thoughts of like, what makes me successful creative, or whatever it might be. But I hope that my thoughts and insights and this quote that I've shared from this wonderful thinker will help, I guess, guide you towards your why. And yeah, I should probably start signing off this video because I need to start working, and Now I have dried tears caked to my face. Maybe I should go wash my face first. So I don't know how long this video ended up being, but if you sat through the whole thing, first I want to apologize because I tend to ramble a lot. But despite that, so many of you will just sit there and listen to the whole thing. So thank you for your time and attention. I really am grateful. I hope this video, this casual sit down video, helped you. I really do hope to make more of these kinds of things in the future, as you know, thoughts and emotions kind of enter and leave my mind as I work on this comic and as I continue on this artist's journey. And yeah, okay, if you like the video, please leave a like. If you'd like to see more of my stuff and my art, please subscribe. And if you have any comments, if you have any thoughts around, I would love to hear your thoughts around what you think a successful artist is, or what your why is. Why do you make what you make? Please feel free to leave a comment. I will read every single one. And yeah, okay, thank you so much. I will see you all next time.